It
Who
feels
knows?
like we're no closer, right? It feels like we're
No.
no closer to having it a higher. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's just going to like pop. I'm going to get the notification. Eagles higher.
Further ado. Let's see what Big Z says on that. Without further ado, let's bring our boy in. Big Z! Zander Krause joins us now.
What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What do you make, man? I mean, just got a text. Craig kind of said it too. He said one of the reasons that Brian Dable was not inclined to take that gig was because he wanted the run game coordinating title to be taken away from Stoutland. And he wanted to have somebody else with that designation. And also Mike McDaniel also was one of the reasons why that he wanted. And this goes down the line of why Cliff Kingsbury didn't get the job a couple of years ago because he wanted to bring in his own run game coordinator. What do you make?
It's weird. I guess that's more common than I realized. I mean, getting that coach right. I mean, look, this isn't the team to do that. So I understand people want their guys, but sorry, I'm not flaking on Jeff Stoutland after one bad year when the offensive line was a shell of itself. I mean, that guy was also the run game coordinator when they ran for 2,500 last year. I didn't hear anything about that. I bet you Kellen Moore likes Jeff Stoutland. So, I mean, has Brian Dable done enough for all of you to sit here and say, get Brian Dable over Jeff Stoutland? Has Mike McDaniel done enough for you to say he's done enough? Get rid of Jeff Stoutland. I mean, come on here. I guess I get it in terms
but
of
it narrows the field. It narrows the field for the Eagles, though, with that parameter, right? You agree?
Well, so be it. I mean, here's at the end of the day, sometimes these other guys, all right, if it's going to narrow the field, maybe that is for the better, because most organizations, one, don't have a good operation. That's why they're never successful. The Eagles have been very successful. So Mike McDaniel, who didn't find success in Miami, Mike McDaniel, who came from an organization that hasn't found success in quite a long time, Brian Dable, who came from New York, another organization that hasn't found success in a long time. They don't know what they're doing.
No.
The Eagles know what they're doing. Now, they got their problems that we talk about all the time, but I'm not flaking on what they do for that. So it is what it is. But, yeah, I've always viewed Jeff Stoutland as an integral part of the Eagles.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm the Eagles, and I'm not, if I was, though, that guy can leave on his own terms. I mean,
bro, Jimmy Johnson said the most important hire in the building is your O-line coach.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
He said that here numerous times. Okay? Your OC is really not. Your O-line coach is your most significant guy that you can have in the building. I'm not hiring Brian Dable or Mike McDaniel to go, hey, Jeff, see you later. Bullshit. I'm not doing that. That's not dysfunctional. Actually, that's smart business. He's one of the top 3 guys, if not the top O-line coach in pro football. You're going to dump him because you want to hire an OC? Yeah. No freaking way, dude.
Yeah, no, not happening. And they're not even going to let the OC run their offense anyway. So the risk reward of the whole situation doesn't even make sense.
What do you make of Christian Parker becoming the new defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys?
It's a good hire for them. I think the Eagles are positioned to handle the loss of a guy like that because of Vic Fangio. But by all accounts, I've heard he's obviously. I mean, we don't hear from him much, so it's impossible for me to know how good of a coach he's going to be. But it seems like he's going to be a good coach, and I think Dallas got somebody that obviously learned through a great deal of success. Especially defensively the last couple of years. He's been a big part of that secondary. You've had 2 guys come in, Quinyon and Cooper, who developed nicely. You had Adoree Jackson, who I understand that people didn't like him this year, but, I mean, he improved throughout the year to the point where he was no longer really that big of a liability, in the big games. I mean, they almost picked on Quinyon more in the playoff game than they did Adoree. Yeah. So I think Christian Parker's an awesome coach. I mean, the results of the team for here were awesome. And look, it's interesting. I said earlier how he shouldn't sit on his hands this summer or rest on his laurels because everybody's coming. The NFC East is not going to stay down. Okay, that's cyclical. That's how
Giants got better.
The Giants are going to be better. They got John Harbaugh. The Commanders will probably be a little better than they were. I don't know how much because I'm not a Dan Quinn guy, and I don't think they constructed the roster the right way. But I do think Jaden Daniels deserves some respect. I mean, he had I think he's a good player. And then you got the Cowboys, who I know, fans love to criticize them, but they had a great offense and a really bad defense. So if they can keep their great offense and that defense can get 25, 35, 45, 50% better than it was, that's going to be a formidable team, and this is kind of the things that Mark Holmes has said. So I think he's right, so the Eagles got it. They got to be aggressive here, man. I think it's a good hire for the Cowboys, actually. I'm surprised. They normally like to go with, I thought they were going to go a different route.
Guys.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go a different route. So I was a little surprised, but it's cool for Christian, man. It's good, man. That's at the end of the day, that's
you root for that.
You want. Yeah, you want good people, who do the work, who grind, and who are worth it, or who are worth their weight to get promotions. So
I think it's a good look for the Eagles in a way. I think people are like this. Well, you lost a guy. It's not a good week. And I'm like, dude, the idea is to find not only good players, but good coaches.
Yeah.
If you're a good team, good players and coaches are going to be taken from your team, are they not?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. Well, good for him, man. Congrats to him on that's a big deal getting the Dallas, getting the coordinator position there. Big promotion for him. So pretty dope.
Zander, it's almost been 10 days since you guys fired Kim Patullo. I mean, it's almost been 10 days.
It feels like we're no closer, right? It feels like we're no closer to having a hire. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where it's just going to pop. I'm going to get the notification. Eagles hire Matt Nagy. Eagles hire somebody. Who knows? We will find out.
It's 10 days. What do you make of that? 10 days.
Well,
is that a big thing or not?
Yeah, I think it's a thing. I don't think it's I don't think it's a huge thing. I mean, how many teams right now are without an OC? Because here's the other thing with OCs is that a lot of times that position is always going to wait for the dominoes to fall of the head coaches. And I think that's you're going to start to see that drain, clearing out a little bit where Harbaugh's gone. A bunch of the head coaches are now gone. So you're going to start to see the OCs filling in. But I got more questions and answers than I did 10 days ago. I think this team is it's just not an attractive offensive side of the ball. It's really not. For whatever reason.
With all that talent?
It's become – I thought Jason Cole's point was phenomenal about the chemistry of the room. Because you think about how the offense didn't perform well, but you don't think about the fact that – or at least it's not top of mind that a guy has to come in, not only live up to expectation, not only get people get the team, the offense back on track, not only placate to an owner that, is boom or bust when it comes to hiring and firing, not only placate to Nick Sirianni, not only build, around Jalen Hurts, but fix the cohesion and the locker room element of the offense. I mean, the first thing you got to do when you get hired here is you got to call AJ Brown. Yeah. And you got to say,
what's up?
All right, what's up? Are you, let's do this, man. I got a plan for you. I know how to make this work with you. You're going to be happy here. It's like part OC, part counselor, part, second fiddle to Nick.
Psychologist.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of shit going on here. So it's a tough sell.
There's too many egos in the huddle. Hurts, AJ, and Barkley.
I don't think Barkley's an ego. I think he's an ego. I don't think he's an ego like that, though.
No. Ego where I want the offense to run through me, and I want us to win. I want us to run. I'm not saying like this. Hey, if we don't do it, I'm not saying he's got that outwardly ego. I'm talking about competitive ego. There's two different things. Competitive ego.
You want the rock. Yeah,
Jalen's got a competitive ego, don't you?
He knows in order for that to be the case, then guess what, dude? You're going to have to get more than 3.9 a carry, and you can't be losing yards on first down. Now, I don't think that was all Saquon's fault. I really don't. He didn't have a great year, but I don't think that was all on him. It was a lot of offensive line, especially when you rewatch the interior. But I think that's a fair point. I think the big thing here is the style of offense, and then to me, and I keep going there, and I know everybody gets mad at me, but dude, what style of quarterback does Jalen want to play, man? If you're telling me Jalen wants to be that dual threat, all right, I'm going to look at an OC and say, okay, come in here, get the most out of this player, put him in an environment to make plays again, because that's where he killed teams, and that's where you get AJ Brown running open. That's where you get Devontae Smith, opportunities. If that's what you're saying, all right, I feel pretty good about that. But if Jalen doesn't want to run, then I start to wonder, all right, are people right that Jalen has a lot more in the skill set to throw the ball consistently? Are the people who are Jalen haters right that anytime you're going to throw the ball consistently over 30 times a game, you're going to be in trouble? Well, if your quarterback isn't going to run or make plays in the running game, it's going to call on him to play that other way more. We've never seen Jalen do that consistently. So it's a big if, it's a big if.
Super chats will be read at the end. Please hit the like button here. Okay, I got a question for you here. A couple of them. Does any OC believe if they come into Philadelphia that they're going to improve Jalen Hurts as a passer? Do you believe any guy who looks at that quarterback, do you believe heading into his 7th year, you're going to make him a better player in the pocket? Because if he's not going to run, you've got to make him a better passer. And by the way, if he don't run right now, Jalen Hurts' 2026 season, if that guy has as many rushing yards as he had this year, I'm moving off that guy somehow because he ain't going to win a game again. That's significant. You guys win a lot of games. You know what you're not going to start winning? The games. You're going to win 11 ball games, but are you going to lose the games that matter the most? The playoff games.
Does everybody hear this line of questioning? I'm going to have to be deflecting and defending and dancing around all summer. I mean, this guy's going to – I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be the most hated man in Philly after I get done with this fucking show by the end of this summer. My answer to your question is I don't think they view it as get him better because I think the player is what he is at this point. But I think, can you make him more productive and more effective in the game? Can you put him in an offense where his talents are more accentuated? Can you put him in an environment where maybe he has more confidence again back there? Can you create an environment where, there are easy outs for Jalen Hurts? Give him stuff underneath. Give him things, where if he doesn't have his first read or he doesn't have, how many times did we say this year? Takes 4 seconds for the routes to develop. Give him some, again, I'm not saying it's going to fix everything, but I do absolutely think there are things you can do to get more out of the player. And if I'm an offensive coordinator, that's how I would be thinking about it. I wouldn't be trying to change the spots on the leopard. I mean, that, those are what they are. But I think you can get more out of them, Sills. Sills, do you believe that? Do you believe they can get more out of Hurts?
I think you can make him and improve his football IQ even more. And like Brady's IQ improved. I never saw Brady really improve in any way whatsoever when it came to like strength of deep throws or whatever. But what I do think, I gotta
get my boy Catch. Go ahead.
I see him, man. Catch, you're just a dick.
No, man, it's great, man. Look at this $100 super chat for my boy Catch, man. We got to run through this real quick. So this is maybe wrongly been on my mind, but this name is too funny.
Wait, you got Jim Bob.
Catch says $100. Catch, thanks, dude. We appreciate you, man. He says, my bet is we got a Cooter OC. All right, so will the shirt say Cooter Hurts, or will it say Hurts Cooter?
Oh my God.
Cooter Hurts and Hurts Cooter.
Hurts is Cooter.
Oh man.
It's Cooter time. There you go.
Who's Hurts and Cooters and whose Cooters are hurting?
That's pretty good, man. I tell you, and I appreciate you doing that for us, man.
Oh man. Yo, if Jim Bob comes in, that'd be nuts.
But you know what? He's in Indianapolis right now. Look what he did with Daniel Jones, man. I thought he did a great job with him along with Shane. Big old Hurts Cooter. Hurts is Cooter. Dude. What the hell? What are you anxious for? What's going on, man?
I'm not anxious, man. I'm just like, I always try and be honest. I say that all the time. And me being honest is just not what Eagle fans want to hear at this point.
Because, wait a minute. Now you're becoming a shock jock.
I'm becoming Sileo.
Hey, wait. People don't like to hear the truth. Do you not get it? See?
Yeah, but you conveniently do leave out some parts of the truth. All right, they have been a very successful.
I don't leave any part out.
I don't think that they're going to
reword the truth.
I don't think that they're going to be one of the worst teams.
I never said that.
My concerns are about the crux of the team. If you have a wide receiver problem, all right, you could fix a wide receiver. If you got a problem with a cornerback, all right, you can address. When you have a problem with potentially with a quarterback, or you have a problem with a head coach, or you have a problem with the structural foundation of a team, that's when I worry that our window will shut, because you can get there, but staying there is a whole nother game. And that's where you have to be not only great to get there, but you have to get better every single year. And you now look at the way it's going, and it's like, are Jalen Hurts' best days behind him? It's a fair question at this point. Is Nick Sirianni shelf life donezo? I mean, every single person who comes on here says how brutal the guy is to work with, and nobody likes talking to him. Nobody likes him. You know? We all see it. The guy kind of acts like a stooge. I've continued to – I also agree with Jason. I'm very happy Jason said this, because I have been getting ripped from the great people of JAKIB Nation for pointing out that if you're going to give Jalen credit for all the wins, you can't just take Nick out of the equation. And I appreciate Jason Cole and his pragmatic, logical mindset to say, you don't get the 2 bowls with a shit coach. So thank you, Jason Cole. But maybe his time here is running out already. Owner wanted to fire him last year after week 4. So you got a coach and a quarterback who might be 2 of your biggest problems.
Oh, wait.
That's my concern. That's my anxiety. It's not anxiety, but
here's the topic. Who would a potential OC, let me read this right, who would have a potential OC have more of a problem with, Jalen Hurts or Nick Sirianni?
It depends what the truth is. We have to know the truth in order to have that answer. If the truth is that, yes, Jalen is not capable of running those offenses, and the offensive coordinator who comes in has to learn the hard way that Nick Sirianni was right, like Kellen Moore did when they started 2-2 and there were 7 turnovers, well, then it'll be Jalen. But if he comes in here and Nick puts clamps on his offense, and really there's more left in the tank, and the offensive coordinator looks and says, you're not letting me do what I could do. We could be better than this. Well, then it's Nick. But we don't know the truth. Or we do. Some people think they do, but it's all opinion. It's all,
Jalen Hurts is never going to be a better passer from ever. And
I didn't say that that's the goal, though.
I know you're not. I'm talking
You're shifting it, though. It's not about, is he going to be better? He's the player's the player.
Okay.
But
well, then why'd you fire a guy if the run game
he wasn't effective enough with them, dude?
Hold on. They fired the offensive coordinator because the run game and the injuries and the O-line and all that bullshit, because they weren't effective on getting the run game going. First it's injuries and then it's the coordinator. Fucking which is it? Which is it? The injuries or the coordinator? How can the coordinator be a coordinator if it's the injuries and you can't run the fucking ball? Okay, wait a minute. So Kevin Petullo took it on the chin because what? The ineffectiveness of the offense. But the other guys like Hurts and Nick get the benefit of the fact because it was injuries.
You know what I hope we have? You know what I hope? You know what I hope we end up with here? This is what I hope we end up with. I hope we end up with an environment, and we don't know how it's going to play out. I hope we end up with an environment that is not an echo chamber for the offensive coaches. Because when Nick Sirianni elevated Petullo, I'm not even of the belief that Petullo was as bad as people think. I don't think he did a good job. But I also think Petullo was the type of guy who sat there and took it. He didn't feel if Nick wanted to run a certain way, you're not going to tell the Super Bowl head coach how to run his offense. If the quarterback wanted to do certain things, you're not going to push back on that. You're going to say, okay, Jalen and Nick are more established than me. They have more say in this building than me. They're not firing. Those are the 2 guys I got to build around and listen to. So I think Kevin Petullo, in a way, again, wasn't a guy who pushed back on certain narrative. If Nick Sirianni says to, this is the one thing I liked about Dable, is not that he's had amazing success anywhere outside of Buffalo, but I thought this. if Nick said to Dable, we can't throw the ball in the second half, I think Dable would look at him and say, that's stupid. I don't think Patullo ever did that. So I hope at the very least there's an environment where people push back on one another and you do it for the common goal to get better, and let the best argument win. Let the results speak for themselves. But that's what I hope.
So do you think that Nick respected Kellen Moore's? You think he respected Kevin Moore's in-game decision-making than what Kevin Patullo, to what your point is right now? If Kevin was going to run something in-game, Nick could override that because he didn't really have the same respect. Not because he didn't like him. It's just because he's inexperienced at that moment. 3rd and 8. Fourth quarter.
I also will say this.
You're going to trust Kellen Moore, Mo, because Kellen Moore had number one offenses.
You used the word I was going to use. I don't think Nick ever trusted Kevin. And I think that's why it never really got flow. Like you hear a lot of people talk about there's no flow in the offense. And I think that's because you did have Nick, he heard the noise. He knew the expectation. And then he's listening to every fucking call the guy's making in his ear. And then you get into a point where you're like psychoanalyzing everything. And it's paralysis by overanalysis. You're sitting there like, oh, is that call the right call? No. Run this. Just do the basic run play. Just run the inside zone. That we know that's worked in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like I hope we have someone that pushes the needle a little bit. And that's on Hurts. Not on Hurts. That's about Hurts too. Because I think you can get more out of Jalen, but not if you run all risk averse all the time. Not if you only want to win by running the football. You have to have a little variety. Even in 24, the Pittsburgh game, they allowed, all right, let's let Kellen open it up a little bit. Jalen, we can't turn the football over. We got to make smart reads with the ball, but let's show our versatility. Let's do it a different way. Super Bowl, same thing. They had the answers. It felt like last year there was no answers ever.
Let me ask you this. You believe in human nature, right? Like
absolutely
how people act in certain environments.
Absolutely.
This has not been really talked about a lot. How much do you think the egg throwing at Kevin Patullo's house affected Nick Sirianni with a guy that he really likes and a guy that he's been trying to develop and a guy that he elevated and put his name on? The guy's still in the building, by the way. He's not going to be fired. He's just been demoted and put into a different role. He likes him. Now, if that were my friend and a guy that I was bringing up, remember, you saw Frank get on my shit for talking shit on Nick and KP, telling me those are my guys. How much do you think that affected Nick, where Nick felt that he had to get more involved because of the shit that he was taking? And I'm talking Kevin Patullo was taking, that he wanted to take some of that off him. That's human nature, Zander. I don't care what anybody says. You or me, if somebody's talking shit to you or somebody's talking shit to me, hey, bro, teammates do shit like that and protect each other. The coaching fraternity is a very close one. You could see it right now. It's a close-knit. How much do you think that shit affected him? With all the negative stuff in the media, egg throwing, kids being harassed, media saying it, fans hating the guy. How much do you think that went on Nick's ass?
So that's the one, not the egg, but the kids. That's the one I think probably made an impact. I mean, if you're
human nature, dude.
We all have a professional life and a personal life, I would assume. All right. If your professional life is destroying your personal life,
which happens,
for certain people, your professional life will no longer be worth it.
That's right.
Or it will change the way you operate in your professional life.
They come into work every day.
Exactly. So I think when you have a guy who's got kids at school who are getting harassed, which I get. I mean,
how are you focused?
Yeah, so I don't think it's the egg thing, though. I mean, I think that was just one fucking idiot. I mean,
it is. Listen, it's not Eagle fans.
I grew up outside the city. I went to school in this city. I've been in this city my whole life. This city's got more fucking assholes than people will admit. I'm not surprised, though, that an asshole chucked an egg at him.
Remember what I said? I didn't go like this. Eagle fans. I said Eagle fan. because I don't believe that's an indictment of the entire fan.
Well, I mean, you can say fans too. I mean, believe me, I know a bunch of them. All right, we got a lot of assholes, and it's okay. It's part of what makes the city great. But there are a bunch of assholes.
But do you think that this is that affected Nick? Nick took
I think
more.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I mean, remember it was his boy, but like at the end of the day, you got a job to do.
Yeah.
And you can't let some of those other things. Here's
This
the
is
thing.
big boy pants stuff.
Like if I'm Nick and it pisses me off, this is what I would. This is now maybe they didn't have the answers, or maybe Kevin Petullo wasn't good enough, and that seems to be the case. But the best way to stop all that other stuff is by doing what you need to do on the field more successfully.
Yep.
Now it's easier said than done, but you're not gonna dumb things down. You're not gonna put a bottle cap on that can of worms that's already opened up. The only way to do that is have an offense that doesn't have 0 yards and a half. Have an offense that scores 20 to 25 points a game. Have an offense that doesn't lead the league in 3 and outs. You get rid of those things, I promise you the fans are looking elsewhere. They'll find another thing to bitch about. That's a guarantee. But they'll look elsewhere. So, I don't necessarily think that they had the answer. And I think that maybe impacted him more, because it's one thing to see something you don't like. It's another thing to see something you don't like and not feel like you have the ability to do anything about it. That's
Okay.
helpless.
Let me expand on this then. Do you think that the coordinators also, I heard some of the stupidest shit on the planet, that weather, chicks, taxes, what the fuck people talk about? Bro.
Yeah, apparently that here's ready newsflash, Sileo. People will go to Buffalo for the worst taxes in the world in New York State, for the worst weather in the world in Buffalo. You know what? Yeah. When you got great opportunity, it supersedes all that bullshit.
No doubt.
It's only when the opportunity's not that good that you make decisions based on weather.
All right. So do you think that some of the things that they're seeing with all that stuff that went on with Petullo, the firings, the multiple coordinators, do you think multiple coordinators who potentially looked at that job in Philadelphia went, Nick Sirianni doesn't really fight for these guys? Because Nick doesn't. How can anybody say Nick fights for their assistant coaches when at the end of the day you've had 7 coordinators in 6 years?
Well, because Nick does not have the level of power in the building that most other head coaches.
So then you disagree with John that he does.
I agree. What's John's take? Because John's
take is that he thinks that Nick's in control of the coaching staff.
No, he does. There's no way John even believes that. There's no way John even believes that.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Maybe he does. If he does, then yeah, I vehemently disagree with him. Nick is a little bit of a. I mean, in a way, you can give him credit for it because he got another contract. He's been very successful, but in a similar way, for people who are hard headed and have like a great sense of pride, which isn't always a good thing, but yeah, he's like the opposite of that. Like you're not going to tell. Ben Johnson just got hired a year ago. He doesn't have that much, success under his belt to be able to ride on. If you told that guy, though, like I get the vibe, if you told that guy what to do, he'd be like, fire me. You didn't hire me to fucking be a lackey. Fuck off. Either let me do my job or fuck off. I'll fire me. I don't care. Someone will hire me.
Okay. I want to get what you think Nick is as a coach here. Let me ask you this. Do you think Nick's a good X's and O's coach?
No.
Okay. So he's not a good X's and O's coach. So you think
he's not a good one. He's not that here. He was decent at that in Indianapolis.
So it's just because of the quarterback.
The quarterback is the reason that Nick Sirianni's philosophy on offense has changed. Yeah, I don't think that's breaking any news here. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So you think his strength is organizationally?
I don't think the organization.
It's not personnel.
I don't think
development.
Let me finish. I don't think the organization puts Nick in an environment to showcase what he does well. Like, how can this is the other thing I think about Petullo.
So is Nick limited, or is he being limited?
This is. I didn't want to say he's a good X and O coach. That's a lie in the chat. I also think this about Petullo. If you don't give a guy an opportunity to show his skill set, how can you have a proper judgment on said skill set? You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
If I don't give you the opportunity to do it, then I only know you for what I allow you to do and to be. So Kevin Patullo, same thing. If he's not allowed to call his own offense, if
Okay.
he's not allowed to call certain plays, if he's not allowed to manage the flow of the game as an offensive coordinator, how do you know what his skill set is? His skill set was dumbed down to how he operated within a structure that was created by someone else. I'm speaking from that because that's always been me personally. That's why I'm in business, because I can't get a job. I can't have somebody tell me what the fuck to do. It's not the way I work. I won't make it. I'll combust. Some people are like that. So how can I tell what Patullo would do not in his environment? I feel like Nick's in the same boat. I feel like they don't let Nick be the head coach the way that John Harbaugh is going to be in New York.
So what you just painted for everyone is that the owner and Howie have a portrait that they paint Nick in the image on how they see him and put him in that painting. He doesn't have the ability to talk about personnel. He's not an X and O's guy. He works within the structure of what that organization is, because it also limits him. Well, Zander, that right there, am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but here's the thing. Here's the pushback. The pushback is it's very easy to get the evidence to say that the owner and the GM are right. Very easy.
Okay.
Because if they run it their way, and they do, it's not like they run a bad business. It's not like they run an unsuccessful football team. It's not like they have a dwindling team, fan base, city, roster. They don't. They have great success. They have championships now on the mantle. They have NFC East titles. They're the team in their division. So, like, if you got to look now, we just put ourselves in Nick's shoes and in Kevin's shoes, and now put yourself in Jeffrey Lurie's shoes. Last time I gave it to a coach, my baby got dropped on its head and blew up. When I took it over and I managed Howie, and I knew exactly what Howie wanted to do, and we managed it inside, we had two coaches go to a Super Bowl, three quarterbacks are part of a Super Bowl organization. We've won 2. We won the NFC 3 times. You get what I'm saying? It's pretty easy to stack the evidence and say, all right, why would Jeffrey Lurie change?
Okay, well, then let me then add this to it. So I'll tell you why, and what makes me look at him and say, you've left so much on the table and so much meat on the bone. When I watch Bob Kraft run an organization, I see Bob Kraft take Mike Vrabel and let Mike Vrabel empower Mike Vrabel to be a coach and hire whoever the fuck he wants to bring in there to develop players. I saw Bill Belichick do the same shit. I saw Bill Parcells do the same shit. And those coaches took the Patriots to the Super Bowl 3 different times, and I think Vrabel's going to get that Patriots team into Santa Clara. There's going to be another guy that he's going to take. He doesn't fucking parachute down in looking at the image of the team. This guy's caught in hoochie fucking massage parlors, and he's allowing his guy to go out there and do what they want, make the hires they want, sign the players they want. When he has to get involved, he gets involved. Don't you think that Jeffrey and Howie are too constrictive in the idea of not to let these guys breathe? You just got through telling me. How do we know what Hurts is as a quarterback? How do you know who fucking Nick is as a coach? They have got them in such a box. They never empower them.
Yeah, but how do you get out of the box?
Place.
The only way to get out of the box is how? For it to fail and then force change.
Well, I think
they're not failing though,
dude. Winning should get you out of the box too. If you win, doesn't that empower you to go?
Yes, but you're missing the key component of the winning. They think they're the reason they're winning.
Okay. How come Kraft doesn't have that ego?
Kraft runs a different type of ship, man.
Okay.
Two different, there's not one way to do this. There's not one way to live a life. There's not one way to build a business, one way to run a team.
One guy's going to go to 11 Super Bowls.
I get it. He's also the outlier.
I don't think there's any.
But he's the outlier. Understand that.
Hold on. I don't think there's any difference in the personnel to what the Eagles have had over the last 25 years to what the Patriots have had. I think you guys have had more talent than the Patriots. Name me one fucking Hall of Famer outside of Brady and Gronk in the 25 years they went to 7 to 9 Super Bowls. You can't. You can't that when they won it. You
Aaron
got all these.
Hernandez.
You got all these Hall of Fame players on the team, and I think you should be winning more titles, not more games.
I don't disagree, but I mean, you're comparing us with the outlier, and that's tough to compare to, dude. They are more successful than their entire division in the last 20 years.
Well, then let me use another franchise.
Like if you're going to compare them to the Patriots, well, guess what, bro? Every team in the league is sucks.
Okay.
Compared to that.
Well, then let me give you another example. So when Andy Reid got hired by the Chiefs, and he brings that philosophy that he installed with the blueprint of what Jeffrey Lurie uses right now in Philadelphia, and he took it to Kansas City. Remember, Kansas City hadn't gone to a Super Bowl in 49 years.
Again, let me give you an example.
Okay.
How about the Baltimore Ravens, who just had John Harbaugh for 18 years, winner of one Super Bowl, very successful. Can you imagine if Nick went 13 years straight after last year without winning a Super Bowl? He'd never make it. Are they successful? Were they successful enough? That's a different structure. What about in Pittsburgh? Another amazing head coach.
Okay, so you're the Ravens.
And Mike Tomlin.
Okay, so then you're the Ravens. You're Mike Tomlin, and you're not those elite organizations that people think they are. They're not. You're right. You just said it. You're not as elite as you think.
But that's what I'm saying. So Nick, the owner looks at it and says, "You're not the Patriots.
You're the Ravens.
Those are no. We're better. We're better than the Ravens.
They got just as many Super Bowls as they do.
In the last 8 years, they haven't won shit.
Okay, they got 2 Super Bowls under that whole.
When's the last time they won? In 2012, I believe.
Yeah, and Brian Billick won the other one.
Okay, but I don't want to go back too far. I just want to look at the current.
I got it.
Current ownership. They subscribed though the ownership in Baltimore, and I'm not saying they weren't successful, but they subscribed to what you're talking about. You have a coach. Your coach runs your team. All right, and they stuck by him. They let him run it.
Yep.
Well, that philosophy got them 1 Super Bowl.
Okay.
We got 2 in 8 years, and the owner's like, all it takes is for me to swap out the coach when he's no good anymore. Swap out the quarterback. I keep the GM. I keep the structure. I keep the paycheck open, the paybook open. I keep the talent coming in. We're going to be in another Super Bowl in 5 years. Whether Jalen and Nick are here or not, we're going to win another Super Bowl in 5 years.
Okay. You're kind of like the Rams. Okay. No, I'm getting it now. Yeah. No, I mean, I always looked at your talent and go like this. There's nobody New England never had better talent than you, and that Brady.
I agree with that. I just think
now, the quarterback offsets that shit.
Yeah, I think they're a tough comp because of Brady, because of obviously
Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I think they're a tough comp, but I understand where you're coming from with the thought process because you see things from a greatness thing. So you want to say, how do the Eagles? The Eagles are a great organization. How do they be the best? How do they be the elite? How do they win a dynasty? I agree with you. You're looking to get there, and you could make an argument that you're never going to get there with this much change and not empowering
and control.
People. Yeah, not empowering people.
Because you just got through telling me, I don't know if Nick's a good coach. Well, that tells me then Nick's got guardrails.
Nick has a lot of guardrails.
So does Jalen.
Yeah, Jalen has a ton of guardrails too.
So who would want to be a coordinator to that?
Yeah, you got to get a lackey. Yeah, that's why Kevin Petullo is here in the first place.
That's why Billy Bob Cooter is going to be in here, being here.
You think it's going to be Billy Bob? I think it's going to be that Bobby Slowick guy.
Hey, dude, you guys talked to me this morning into Matt Nagy.
Well, I think John brought up a good point on him. Like, it's amazing how perceptions, hold things. Like, Matt Nagy gets ripped. People act like he's like the worst fucking coach. He brought the Chicago Bears
into that.
Yeah, to the playoffs 2 years. He's a 500 record. He took Mitch Trubisky to the postseason twice. I mean, who's the real abject disaster? I mean, is he not the best? Yeah, he's not the best, but I mean, he's got a better resume than fucking Brian Dable does.
Or Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, or Mike McDaniel. So I don't know.
I mean, no.
I'm with Catch. Like the one thing that's a guarantee, no matter who they hire, is that the offensive coordinator is going to get booed next year. And if you're talking about booing somebody like booing Cooter is going to be legendary.
Ah,
I'm going to look for a TV setting to mute the announcers just so I can hear the Eagle fans booing Cooter.
Jesus criminy, man.
Because they're going to boo him. I can guarantee you that.
Do you think that Julian Lurie will be the president of the Philadelphia Eagles in 3 years?
No, not 3. Within 10, for sure.
What's that mean for Howie?
If Julian had a brain between the ears and it worked, Howie would be here. I mean, you're going to take over the team. You're not going to be the GM too. You can't do everything. You know, Howie's the best GM. I said a long time ago, and I still hold to this. You know, I don't think it'd be a bad idea to give Howie 1% of the organization.
That's about $150 million.
But only if you liquidate it. You know, I don't want anybody poaching Howie.
I think 8% got $8 billion.
I mean, Howie's a pretty young dude, man. He's like 50, I think. Let me look him up. Howie Roseman age.
I think he's 52.
He's 50, right on the money.
Okay.
He's 50.
Wow, he could be a GM for the next 15 years.
I mean, he's already arguably a Hall of Fame GM. He's going to be
he is.
I'm not letting that guy walk out the building.
Howie Roseman.
This is what bothers me about the coaching thing. You know, I believe when you have great people, either elevate and empower your great people, or don't. You don't need. Why do you have them?
Yeah, but I just said that to you. They don't empower these people.
They don't. They empower Howie.
They empower Howie.
But I think Howie operates under Jeffrey and doesn't really have power over that.
You believe then that let me say it because I don't want to put words in your mouth. So the owner believes that the success of the football team is solely on the shoulders of the GM and not the coach. Is that correct?
I don't know that he thinks solely, but I think they are a much more important component. And I think he's got.
Do you think they could replace him and still? Do you think they?
Well, let me ask you something. There's 10 coaching jobs right now, and 13 offensive coordinators.
That's crazy.
How many GMs got fired? Not 10.
No, the guy in Atlanta got fired.
And let me tell you. Let me also remind you of this.
I can't think of no one else.
In the modern game, me and you have often talked about something that I don't think is talked about enough at all when it talks about macro football analysis. The game has changed from a sense of these businesses are massive now. You know, the Cowboys in the 90s were worth, I don't know,
$154 million.
These are like Fortune 500 companies now. These are fucking huge companies. I mean, you're talking about a $10 to $12 billion asset. If the Cowboys went up for sale right now, forget what their list price said or what their value said. They're selling for $15 billion. So I think it's a little bit of a different era now. But if the GMs manage, what do they manage, Sills? They manage the motherfucking money. Find me a GM or an owner of a business who cares more about something other than the fucking money. GMs are valuable. And by the way, I think they might be harder to find than anybody. Quarterbacks, players, receivers, anybody. That's how. And when you have a guy like Howie that's performed at the level he's performed, I mean, come on, man. You don't let that guy walk.
Bro, you want
now, here's the question. This is a bigger question.
Cowboys have an evaluation right now of $14 billion. He bought it for $140 million.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Tenfold.
Here's shit, I lost my train of thought. That's all right. But that's what I think we're at. I think it's a big business and GMs are very important, you know, and I remember. Will Howie want when Jeffrey Lurie's out? Does Howie maybe want to trailblaze? You know, does Howie want to prove his worth
Jets
somewhere?
He's always coveted that job.
You know, you hear the beat reporters right now, and I know people don't care sometimes what beat reporters say, but you got to understand how they play a role in legacy. Okay,
Messaging.
Right. Well, even a bigger term. They write the stories that you look back on that tell the story of an era.
Yep.
You listen to the beat reporters. Whenever I give Howie Roseman credit, I'm immediately met with Jeffrey Lurie, who gives him the checkbook. Can't do it without Jeffrey Lurie. Now, they're right, but maybe Howie, his ego, when he's 55 years old,
no one will
maybe
remember
he feels
that.
like, I want to trailblaze. I want to go and I want to go and, do. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't, but you can't rule out the human element of that.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Theo Epstein, the former general manager of the Cubs and also the Red Sox, he wanted to win in two places that no one had ever won before. He built statues of Theo Epstein, the GM in Chicago with the Cubs and with the Red Sox. They never won in over 100 years with both places.
Yeah.
The fucking guy's he's a legendary Hall of Fame guy in two legendary places. Oh, yeah, Howie Roseman's going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I put him in the category. I think he's better than Bill Polian, who built the Colts and built the Bills teams. I don't think he's in the room with a Bobby Beathard, because Beathard built that undefeated Miami Dolphin team, plus went on to build those three-time Super Bowl champion Washington Redskins teams. I think he's better than Jerry Reese. I think he's better than Brett Veach. I don't know if he's better than Ozzie Newsome. He could be in the same. Probably him and Ozzie Newsome are probably in the same conversation. Dude, that's quite a compliment, because I think a lot of Howie Newsome. Or Ozzie Newsome. I think a lot of him. So, yeah, no. How many more years do you think he's got left?
Who?
Howie, with the Eagles.
He's 50 years old. I think he's going to do it another 15 years.
In Philly?
I don't know. It's impossible to make that prediction with potential owner change.
How many more years do you think Nick has here? How many years do you think the owners are going to tolerate
it's so
not having a change?
It's so hard to guess because it's truly fire and ice.
They tried firing him twice almost.
It's true. It's fire and ice. It's like they try firing him and then he goes and wins a Super Bowl. It's true. Remember, for year one, same shit. People were like, he should be a one and done, and then he leads the team to the playoffs, and then the next year they go to the Super Bowl. It's like,
do you think if they didn't win the Super Bowl last year, they'd have fired him at the end of the year?
Depends where they got bounced. I mean, if they got bounced early, maybe. I mean, if the report is true, the owner wanted to fire him in week 4. I mean, you don't just forget that. You don't just forget that. Like, you don't get to the end of the season. Oh, I didn't think that. You did. You thought about it.
No, I'm like, okay. Let's get to these supers. Guys, I appreciate you very much. Please send the supers, and also please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Let's get to some of these, brother.
Here's Joho.
What a great conversation today.
Yeah, good one. Can we trade Nick to the Raiders to get Bain? He's not going 1.
Bain's not going 1, but Bain is probably going to go 5. I say Ruben Bain's going 5.
Another top 5 draft pick for the Miami Hurricanes. Things are adding up for your squad, brother. I told you, Cam Ward.
It's going to be 2 in the top 10. The OT and that kid.
Yep.
Starting to look
any of my fellow Alabama fans in the chat. Now, I woke up with sweats the other night. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you're going to get 2 dudes in the.
I fear we have fallen off, and I fear it will be quite a bit until we return.
D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans.
You need a great coach. In college, you need a great coach.
Bro, you imagine how many kids you would get on defense to go play for that guy, on what that guy has done. And dude, he changed that culture around after that Deshaun Watson mess. That dude is underrated as a coach.
Home run, dude. He's been great in Houston.
Has he exceeded?
Talk about abject disasters. CJ Stroud is an abject disaster.
Yeah,
they can't pay him. They cannot pay him.
They can't pick that 5th-year option up.
He's horrid. Talk about wasting opportunity. That was like a championship defense on steroids.
They were talking. Some people were talking in Houston that he should have put Davis Mills in.
Yeah, he wouldn't do it because the optics of it probably would have been brutal, but I would have done it. I mean, I could see why. They weren't all that bad. Remember when Davis Mills started for the year after Deshaun Watson? Yeah, he was.
No, he won this year.
Yeah, he won a call. He played like what, 3 games this year? He was like 3-0.
Remember they started 0-3, and then CJ got injured. You see what he said bullshit about? He goes, one of the reasons why I don't have to really be all that great is because my defense is great. And I was like, so he's saying, what do you want to do? Trade Will Anderson, and maybe you'll become great? Is that what we're saying?
What did he say?
He said that, one of the reasons why I'm not really evolving is because we have such a great defense and I don't have to be great.
CJ said that?
CJ Stroud said that.
Yeah. I would maybe trade him this summer. I don't even want him in my building.
Yeah. I'm out on him, man.
Well, you should have stuck to your guns.
I know, man. It's the Ohio State guy.
Remember when he went, what do you go, number 2 overall?
Yeah. Yeah, because Bryce, actually, get this, Bryce is now taking over.
Yeah, Bryce is
and looks better than
Dude, if Bryce. This is what I wish people would understand about Bryce Young. If Bryce Young was 6'5", he'd be one of the best quarterbacks in the game.
You know who Bryce Young's attitude reminds me of? Devontae's. They both they remind me like hard work.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about attitude, dude. I'm talking about skill set. That dude can process. That dude was a 99th percentile. 99th percentile in the cognitive processing test that they do before the draft.
That's so great.
99th. His problems are his physical limitations.
Yep.
But and he's got an unbelievable arm and he's tremendously accurate. When he can throw, I mean, if he was 6'5", I think he'd be maybe top 3.
One of my favorite moments in Saban history is when he went like this. Both guys, Will Anderson and him, were getting up at that podium.
Yeah, that was.
He grabbed both those guys and looked at them and goes, "I want to talk about these 2 dudes here, and about what they gave to the program and this and that." And they both touched him on the shoulder, and I was like, "Man, you talk about loving your players.
Yeah,
that's what you're missing in Alabama right now with Saban because he loved them guys."
Saban was a developer.
Rare cat.
He was a developer of men. And college coaches have to have that. Yep. If you don't have that, then I think you're doing it the wrong way. But where Saban's right, I mean, it's changed a lot, man. The college game, and it's going to keep changing. And that's okay. Probably, I welcome the change. I think, but I think that's
the change helped my program get back to an establishment.
It did, and I think I like that. I know people I'm a Bama guy. Obviously, I'd want them to win it all every year, but I like having teams get better. I like the Indiana story. I like the Miami story. I like that Miami's back. I mean, I like that shit. I like that Ole Miss is competing. So, I don't have a problem with it, but it has changed kind of the fabric of the sport a little bit, which is different. Here's Marsh. I do believe this is more Lurie pushing the philosophy. Y'all forget he stripped Howie during Chip Kelly and we still won. However, this thinking doesn't produce Super Bowls, lack of consistency. Well, Marsh, they have produced a couple Super Bowls, man.
And appearances.
How many Marsh, question for you.
None without.
How many Super Bowls happened before Chip Kelly or during Chip Kelly?
How many Super Bowls ever happened before Lurie?
0. 0 happened during Lurie until he took over. This is what I'm saying. I don't like what Jeffrey Lurie's style is. It's not what I would do. But you have to be able to be objective and say, I understand why he does it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Here's Joe. Thanks, bro. Steve, what's up, Steve? Zander, you're dead on correct. Even Sirianni is controlled. Yeah, I mean that's his organization, Steve. It's a weird.
So how can you tell if he's a good coach or not?
I don't think he's a bad coach. I'm sorry. I'm going to die on that right now. Until he proves to me he's a bad football coach, I'm going to think I don't think he's groundbreaking on the offense. I don't think that. I don't think he's got this.
Here's my problem that made me go more deep in that end. Well, I saw him get out coached by a guy who had a shitty team, and he had no answers for it. And he came up with that stupid 4th and 11. How much of Kyle Shanahan with a box of rocks beat him? Sure. It made me go, here. What's your answers, Nick?
Yeah, I hear you. I get that. I get it. I do. Marsh, what's up? Call me a Jalen or whatever, but you guys refuse to call out the stupidity of Nicholas Sirianni using Hurts as a scapegoat. Don't sit well with me. I think Nick Sirianni's done the opposite of use Hurts as a scapegoat.
I think it's the organization that limits both guys.
I don't think you're a Jalen for that comment. That's not. But Marsh, I wonder the same things about Hurts that I wonder about the coach and that I wondered about the coordinator. And Marsh, if you're going to have that mentality on the quarterback, which I think is fair to have, Marsh, how do you not extend it to the coach and the quarterback? If we understand, or if the premise is correct that the front office of the Philadelphia Eagles controls everything, how do you not look at the coaches with the same tinted glass that you look at Jalen with if he's not able to play his game? Nick Sirianni's operating within their philosophy. So you have to be consistent in the logic. I don't think it's bad logic. I just think you got to be consistent with it.
No, I don't either. I don't.
Here's Kim.
By the way, guys, and Kim, thank you guys very much for the for all the supers today. We appreciate it.
Kimberly says, Charlie Weiss like Monken. Take a chance on new blood. Yeah, Kimberly, it's kind of growing on me. I'm not going to lie to you. I just don't think you're going to push back on anything. Like I said earlier, the number one thing I think you want, here is, you just want a room that's not a fucking echo chamber. I want somebody to tell Nick why risk averse is good in moments, but it can't be what you do every time. I want somebody to tell Jalen why you got to protect your body, but your legs are imperative to our football team. I want somebody to hold Stoutland accountable to, if this isn't working, Jeff Stoutland, we have to do things to get more creative. I want a room that welcomes ideas and everybody pushes toward a common goal. Because I believe that's how you get the best product. I don't think they had that last year.
Surround yourself with great people all the time. You get great results.
And let them speak. Let them speak.
Let them empower them.
Yeah. Here's Marsh again. Marsh, thanks for all the support today, bro. We appreciate it.
You're absolutely awesome, Marsh.
Sirianni is stupid trying to force a square into a circle, and then he has no answers for anything. Overlooking a football player for a shit brain is crazy to me.
Hey, you know what, though, man? Hey, Marsh, that my definition of a great coach is being a problem solver. That's when I need you the most, Zander. Not when I need you when things are front running and you're running for 200 yards a game. I need you when shit hits the fan. Don't you put more value on people when shit hits the fan?
Absolutely.
Like, get this. How about this? What if Sean Payton wins that AFC title game this weekend?
Yeah, impressive.
Well, that's what you pay him for, isn't it?
Right.
Isn't that what Doug did?
Do you hold him? Do you hold it against him?
No. How about this? Doug Peterson. You think Doug Peterson cemented his legacy in Philadelphia? Not by winning the Super Bowl. How he won the Super Bowl.
Doug Peterson's a fucking legend in this city. I don't give a
not just that they won the first one. How they won it.
Doug Peterson is the OG. Doug Peterson is my favorite Eagle coach, and it's not fucking close.
We got to get him on again.
Walkout, what's up, dude? Bill, thanks, man. He says, hey, guys, do you think Sirianni and Hurts are on the clock for 26? Do you think Howie will let Sirianni have any say in the draft? You guys are great, Bill. Bill, thanks, dude.
I think what will happen in 26, if it bombs at the end of 26, I think everything's on the table.
I think it is, but I think it'd have to be pretty bad to blow them both out. I think
you're 10-7. No, I don't think.
Yeah, Bill, I think it's. Yeah, I don't think the question is unfair at all. I don't know if Sileo froze up for everybody, froze up for me. I don't think the question's unfair at all, Bill. I think the problem is, when you have as much success as you have, how are you going to justify making a move, not only on a coach, but also on a quarterback? If the offense sucks, I would leave it on the table as a potential, but it's tough to go there in terms of how much success that they've had and what they've accomplished. And, dude, blowing it up is for, and at least in my opinion, blowing it up is for the Jetses of the world, the Titans of the world, the New York Football Giants of the world. It's not for the Eagles. I get it, and I think the seat is hot just from an expectation, Bill. You don't have the scapegoat anymore, right, Bill? You had Kevin this year. It's a scapegoat. Now you don't have Kevin. So when you get rid of the guy that everybody says was the problem, the one thing that guarantees, Bill, is, well, now it's on you guys. All right, Kevin's gone now. Now it's on you, Nick and Jalen. And I think that's how it will be looked at ultimately. So go ahead, Sills, if you have one more comment on to Bill's answer. You got most of what you were saying out.
Listen here, man. I don't think that 26 they're going to blow anybody out. Like Zander said, unless they're going to go down and it's a 4-win team, like what happened to Doug, they're not going down that lane. But I do think, Zander, it'll change the mentality of how they look at both those guys heading into that 27 season. And I told you this, man. Do you see Jalen Hurts as starting quarterback of that football team past 3 years from now?
Right now, no. But that could change. I mean, what?
Okay.
You know, last time they fell apart and lost in the opening round, they went on to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying it's going to happen again. Let's just say they go to the NFC Championship game next year. You know what's going to happen, right? They're going to have to re-up Hurts' contract.
Yep.
And then, yes, he's going to be here for another 3 years. If they fall flat this year, I don't think they'll extend him. And then I think the clock will really be ticking.
Do you think that Jalen and Nick are tied together?
No.
And what I mean by that is that if they're going to get rid of one, they're going to get rid of both, because that's what they did with Doug.
Yeah, they didn't want to get rid of Carson.
Okay.
They did not want to get rid of Carson.
So you don't think these two guys are tied together? Because that's kind of what I think Lamar is.
In fact, let me tell you this. I think the first thing that happened when Doug got fired wasn't he wanted to elevate Press Taylor or that he won 4 football games.
Huh.
The offensive line was destroyed that year. Everybody loves to leave out that context. Destroyed.
And the receivers were nobody.
Receivers, nobodies. So Doug had really tough roster to work with. I think they were upset with Doug for sitting Carson Wentz during the season. And that was the first thing that pissed them off. And then you have the coordinator.
Oh, you think Doug made that call to sit him and not
Doug 100% made that call. That is not up for debate. Doug made the call to bench.
So do you think they would give Nick that power to bench Hurts, or do you think that has to
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I agree. That means they'll never have a coordinator or coach like Doug Peterson ever again in the building. And by the way, isn't it kind of funny, Zander, that you and me have a show here and we have a network here that all of a sudden Mike Florio has on Frank Reich, and Frank Reich echoes the shit that we said 6 months ago, that the guy was going to be he was open to being a consultant. Well, we said that 6 months ago here. You can go back and watch the interview when Frank was the head coach interim of the Stanford Cardinal.
Yeah. So
would you be open to that? Bringing Frank back?
Yeah, I think it would be good. I mean, again, I would hope that it's not an echo chamber because those guys are buddy, but I don't think that's how Frank rolls.
It's not. It's not. But don't you think if you're an OC and you see Frank Reich and you see Nick Sirianni in the building, wouldn't that be maybe a red flag for you to go, well, wait a minute. If I want to do something, these two guys don't like it. I mean, how much latitude is Nick going to give this guy is really, I think, the biggest question.
Yeah. Yeah. Brandon says that came from up top. Brandon, I can 100% guarantee you it did not. The owner did not want to put the new quarterback they just paid a couple years prior had a $32 million dead cap hit. He did not want to put him on the bench. I guarantee you that. That's why they fucking played Nate Sudfeld in the final game.
That's not how that works, folks. You pay him, you play him. You guys are crazy if you think you pay a guy.
And by the way, does anybody remember those 4 games? Because I do. I remember that Cardinal game like it was yesterday. Jalen Hurts, let me look that up. Let me look up because I remember him fucking cooking.
I thought it was the Atlanta or the
Eagles
Saints
versus
where he threw for 350.
2020 season. No, I remember because it was COVID. They lost the football game 33-26. Jalen Hurts in the game had 338 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I thought he
was a rookie.
I thought he ran for 60 something in that game too.
I'll tell you in a sec. He ran for 63 with a touchdown.
Yeah. So he had 4 TDs in that game.
That was Jalen Hurts' second game, I think, starting ever in his career.
Was that Press Taylor as OC?
No, that was Mike Groh the OC then?
Yeah, okay, yep, okay.
I think Doug would have been better for Jalen than Nick has been for Jalen.
Would they have won as much?
Potentially not. Because, it's impossible to guess because would Howie have made the same move? You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
hard to, but I do. I think Doug and Jalen would have been a really good
Who
fit.
puts Jalen in the box more and restricts him more, Nick or Howie? Xander, you have to go into a
See,
meeting.
that's what I don't know.
Watch this. You have to go into a meeting with Howie and with Jeffrey when you have your meetings and go, this is the style of play I think is going to be the best suited for him. And the general manager who has put the roster together is going to go thumbs up or thumbs down and go, yes, I agree. He's this, he's that. He says it all the time. He's in the meetings with them. How would he not have an opinion on how Jalen plays? Right? How would he not have an opinion? He's always in our meetings. He's always in our approach meetings. How does anybody think that Howie doesn't have any kind of say in style of play? Yes, I agree.
I don't know. No, I don't think he does, dude.
You don't think
not that he has zero, but I really don't think
you don't think he says this is who Jalen is. You need to build an offense around who this guy is. He's the talent evaluator.
Wait, Pump, no picks. Pump, 0 picks in that game, big dog. It was December 20th, 2020. 0 picks, Pump.
Wow.
Sorry, Pump.
400 yards in total offense with 4 TDs. That's chucking it.
Second game with Doug Peterson.
That's chucking it. Well, what happened to that guy?
Doug?
No. What happened to that guy, that quarterback right there?
Well, I mean, he was a rookie. He was still raw, I mean, but
raw with 330 and 60 on the ground and 14.
24 for 44 in the game,
Where's that guy? I've seen that guy a few times.
What happens when you open up your can of Coke that you drink? What happens when you open up a can of Coke?
Goes
and
flat.
You leave it, and then you leave it there for 3 days.
Goes flat.
Okay. They tried to bottle them up, dude.
And they bottled them up and succeeded to a point where they're 50-18 in the last 4 years.
Well, that's where the Nick argument. I explained to you why Jeffrey runs the way he does, because I think he thinks he's successful. Same with Nick. So Big Marsh, appreciate your supers, but you can make them all you want. I mean, Nick thinks he's successful and he's not wrong. Here's Mr. Hill. Catch, by the way. Thank you one more time, my man. I appreciate you. Mr. Hill, I'll get to you in a sec. Here's Marshall. I'm upset you guys are missing the point here. Good coaches coach the player's strength. The dumbass coach's inability to do so is the problem. This is not hard, fellas. And Marsh, can't agree with you, man. I agree with your point that good coaches coach the player's strengths, but I can't agree with you that you think that this is this simple problem that it's all Nick Sirianni. I can't subscribe to
that. Let me ask you about Belichick, and I'll show you about 2 players. So when Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round, and Tom Brady's being coached by Bill Belichick, and you got Lawrence Taylor on the other side. Lawrence Taylor made a defense that fit Lawrence Taylor's skill set with the New York Giants, and it turned him into the greatest defensive player of all time. Bill Belichick turned Tom Brady into the greatest player of all time based on his skill set. Do you think that's coaching, or do you think that's something else?
It's a combination of both. The great coach with a great player who's got an uncanny or an unfettered desire to become the best.
2 players with exceptional football IQ.
Yep, and who worked their ever-living balls off.
Yes. Lawrence Taylor could go like this on a chalkboard and go and give you every single technique on every single position, offensively and defensively. He went up there. You know what? Hey, Harry Carson told me he went up there and all 22 players, he showed technique, he showed responsibility, he showed everything that was in the offenses, and nobody could believe. And he would go back there and close his eyes and go back to sleep again in the meeting. So when he goes, go up to the board, he'd go up to the board and write your job out. Yeah. He'd write others' jobs out, and he'd go back and sit down and go to sleep. There's just certain freaks like that, dude, that God puts their hand on your shoulder, and he's just there a little longer.
And it's not only talent that separates those guys. It's a desire and a work ethic. Here's Mr. Hill. Will money entice Kingsbury to deal with Stout U? Doesn't sound like it. That's the rumor.
No. Do you buy that?
I
That
do
guy,
because a lot of these people got to remember a lot of these guys have these what they call these like intricate run schemes.
yeah,
And the Eagles don't run that. They
right.
use the running backs in different ways. They
Yep,
create jet sweeps and
yep.
zone and all these different things that the Eagles don't do. And I happen to think Stoutland is right that that's not really suited for the Eagles.
I'm not getting rid of Jeff Stoutland.
No, me neither. We talked about this at the Open.
I'm
Here's
not.
Leon. Super Bowl Stout is the main reason we don't have a new OC. Leon, if you want to rage about Jeff Stoutland, be my guest. Here is
Got 2 rings.
Marsh. If I remember correctly, Frank was mad at the Panthers for picking Young over Stroud. Let that marinate. Well, Young does have physical limitations.
Yeah, he did. He was. Marsh, he did. I think that Young is now really, you know what, Marsh, I'll tell you this about Bryce Young. When they benched him and he sat behind, what was that, Andy Dalton? And he sat behind him for a couple games, and they kept Andy Dalton on the sidelines. You know, Andy Dalton and him have one of their best relationships, and Andy Dalton helps him sees the game more. You know, wouldn't you think that would help Jalen if they had more of an experienced quarterback behind him and helping him when he comes off the field? Don't you think that would help him?
I have been a little bit confused by some of their backup quarterback picks. Mariota made sense, but Gardner Minshew.
Brady always had a veteran guy behind him. Like, he had a guy with him. Yeah, but he wanted to hear someone else's opinion on how he saw that.
People are going to get mad at this question, but whatever. Do you think Jalen Hurts' ego has gotten like too big? Do you think any of it is him?
A little bit. I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's overbearing, but I do think that he sees himself differently. Remember what Boomer said? You got to learn to play with the contract too, son. I think a little bit of that's kind of like, this is my team. This is this. We're going to do it this way. We're winning this way. I don't give a shit what you think. And I got to tell you, I think there's frustration with some of the players. I never hear anybody talking shit on A.J. Brown.
That's why I brought up the weird way they posted. Like, and I know it's goofy, but at the end of the day, we are in the modern age, guys, and social media is big for these players. They all like almost made a point. Like AJ's in every picture with all of them smiling. They all love AJ. I don't know. It doesn't mean that they all think AJ's right about everything. That's not what I'm saying.
But I thought it was odd too that Jalen went out of his way to make sure he told everybody that he and AJ are in a good place. He came like all of a sudden, like on the exits.
I actually like this comment from Reyes. This dude is humble as fuck. He doesn't let it go to his head. Y'all just think the lack of crying on the sidelines like Josh Allen is some indication he doesn't care. Yeah, I heard you caping for the tears. Yo, dude, you're a fucking grown man. Welcome to being a grown man. We're all fucking grown men. We all got shit in our life. Get the job done, Josh.
Hey, man.
4 picks in the playoffs.
Okay. Hey, dude, I don't have a problem with somebody showing emotion and love.
I don't have a problem with it either, but I have a problem with not getting the job done.
Okay, that's a different problem.
Feel bad for you.
One doesn't have anything to do with the other.
Give a rat's ass back.
One has nothing to do with that. One has nothing to do with the other.
Get the job done.
Love of the game and 4 picks are 2 different combos.
I gotcha. I know. Joshy Poo can cry to tears.
Joshy Poo.
Here's Marsh. That's true, Zander. We won Super Bowls, but how many did we leave on the table? It's a fair question, but Marsh, it's not like there's other teams that are winning them at a higher rate than we are, the Chiefs, but again, they're,
Chiefs and
I hear you, Marsh. Here's Pump. Don't understand why fans put so much energy into blaming Nick when we know he's just a mascot. He didn't ventriloquist that pass in the triple coverage. Brian Pumper is so fucking funny. This guy is
look at the picture.
I know. I saw the picture. I've been looking at the picture for that when we lost.
Look at the freaking picture the guy has there, man. Are you kidding me? Did we get them all?
I think we got one more.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for the supers.
Absolutely. Guys have been great today. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, please.
Would you trade AJ for Coleman and a first to the Bill? Coleman and a first. Nick, what crack are you smoking?
Keon Coleman, that guy? Is that
one, I don't want Keon Coleman. And 2, AJ Brown's not worth a first-round pick to somebody.
What do you think his value is?
My prediction is a conditional 3 that could become a 2 based on metrics.
Now you're saying 3 because of the money?
Yeah, he's a 30-year-old, $32 million wideout. I mean, come on.
$30 million.
So wait, teams already don't even like drafting wideouts because it's a premium pick. Now you're going to send a premium pick and pay 32?
No.
You're not even getting a rookie deal out of it. It's a fucking bad value. You're not. You're a 2. I think would be extremely. I don't even think a 2.
So continue.
Read your super YouTube. You didn't send a fucking super. So instead of saying read your fucking super, how about you send one, motherfucker?
Look at Z, Joe.
I'm fired up. Today I'm on the show. I'm all pissed off. I'm not in a good mood. Then John's telling me that a back surgery is the same as a fucking ankle surgery or a knee surgery. I'm like, what the fuck world am I living in that a back surgery is the same as an ankle or a knee?
He's done.
I mean, come on.
He's done. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that. Let me see. How many NFL guys came back from back surgery? I don't remember anybody coming back. Let me see here. Okay, get this. A significant number of NFL players return from back surgery. When studies with returns, 42
skyscraper, shut your bitch ass
50%. Now get this, if you have any kind of lower back, it's 62% return rate. So there's a 48% chance that he's not back to what he was. Dude, I think that's fucking high.
That's maybe. Here's Hangry. Look at a JAKIB shirt. Nice. I remember Doug said in multiple post-game pressers that Carson, not Hurts, gave them the best chance to win games. Didn't Howie want a better draft pick from starting Sudfeld? Yeah, what are you talking about? Earlier in the year? You know what's funny? Before I was doing Eagles content, before JAKIB Sports existed, I've always loved content. My dad grew up in media. It's just kind of like what I've always, thought I was going to do. I made a video when I lived in Houston. At the time, I was doing YouTube, but I was doing it in a different arena. And I made a video. It was about 3 minutes. I still have it on my computer. I got to find. I almost don't want to show it because I'm like self-conscious about it. I was like a fucking youngster, like 19 years old. I had an Eagle hat on. I had long hair. And I made a video in week 2 of 2020. It's time to bench Carson Wentz. I have it on my computer.
How come you don't replay that?
I should replay it.
That's a great take. By the way, Hangry.
Thank you, brother. Yo, thank you, big dog. All right, that's all of them. Get me out of here, please. I'm telling you, I'm going to be the most hated man in Philly after talking to you all fucking summer.
Good. Better
Easy for you to say from fucking California.
Hey, good. Better you than me. All I do is get shit on my ex account. Yeah,
you're crying. You're like John. You guys. Sometimes you guys come on the show and it's like you got to cry about your ex account. I don't give a fuck who is mentioning you on X. John and Jeff Kerr. The fans in my comments. I don't give a shit about the fans in your comments.
I don't really care a crap either, bro. They could kick rocks. Box of rocks.
Oh, man.
Big Z, I appreciate you, man. Make sure you guys check out my boy at Birds 365 in the morning. Love you, man.
All right,
I'll talk
dude.
to you in the morning,
Appreciate
man.
you, brother. Love you too, man.
You got you, man. Power good. All right.